Hey everyone, this is Issy from Brand New Congress. I'm here today in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm coming to you live to answer any questions that you have about Brand New Congress and about our candidates. And I look forward to taking your questions today and having a good time for the next 30 minutes. So here I am. We are really excited about this movement, and we're excited that you are joining us in this revolutionary movement moment. And can't express my gratitude enough for everything that you all have contributed to our cause, because in the end, it's all about you and me, all of us together. So, we're really excited. We're taking off like crazy. Of course, we are waiting for the election to be over so that we can really gain more and more momentum. In the meantime, we are hard at work finding these extraordinary, ordinary candidates that we talk so much about. And so I'd love to give you some insight into that and answer any questions that you have about candidate selection, about your district, kinds of different things that we're looking for, particularly in this time. So just to give you a little bit of background on Brand New Congress, in case any of you are kind of new to the movement, like I said, we're a real revolutionary people-powered movement to run 400 plus candidates in 2018 in the midterms. So this is a pretty big and bold plan, because we find that this is exactly the time that we need to really move forward and do this thing, because you've seen the last, this particular election cycle, the Democratic establishment was basically within an inch of its life. People are frustrated, disenfranchised. And now is the time for extreme action. And so we're all here and we're working really hard to create a brand new Congress, create a Congress that works for all and that really represents all of us. So that's what we're doing. So we're gearing up to get 400 plus candidates in 400 districts across the country. And we figure there's about 60 or 70 really good candidates or really good incumbents that are currently in the House and Senate that we don't intend on challenging. And anything can happen in the next year. There's, the election's happening right now, coming up. There's really great candidates that definitely believe in our platform and our plan that we don't intend on challenging. But there's so many that don't. And so we are intending on identifying these great people, not running against them, and identifying those that actually really need to leave and really bring forth change. So we need to bring people in the House and Senate that are going to revolutionize this movement in our country, because we deserve it, and I believe you all agree with me. So our goal is to get money out of politics, to stop our plunge into oligarchy and save our democracy. And so we have a very common sense platform that we believe most Americans can agree with, and all of our candidates will agree with our platform. We'll go in 2018 and ready to enact these changes on day one. So if you want to learn more about our platform and our plan, you can go to brandnewcongress.org/plan to read more about that. You'll see that we have a working draft of our plan with a whole very, very intricate plan for to really rebuilding the economy. So that is kind of the big difference between, we are essentially Bernie's platform and Bernie's plan, but we have a huge jobs program, because this is exactly what we need to do to change our country. So really looking forward to you guys looking at that website, looking at the plan, because this is something that we believe all Americans can agree with. And so we're targeting Republicans and Democrats, Republicans in red districts, Democrats in blue districts. And the really cool thing is that BNC voters will have 2 opportunities to vote in 2018. They'll be able to vote for their candidate in the midterms, and then have a second chance to vote for an independent if we run again in the primary. So really excited about that too. So that is kind of where we are. We're looking for these really extraordinary, ordinary candidates, which we've been talking about. These are working people, people that reflect our society, blue-collar workers, moms, dads, teachers, engineers, scientists. And so we're going to have this wonderful, beautiful House and Senate with people that have the knowledge base and the knowledge base of their district to really set forth this plan in motion. So we're really excited about that. Found some really great people so far. We've received about 1,700 nominations, so thank you so much for that, and keep them coming. And we've identified maybe 50 or 60 so far, and we're still going through the vetting process right now. But yeah, so I want to talk about any questions that you have about candidates. So let me go ahead and look here. Yes, Carol. Yes. So yes, we have 17, almost about 1,700 candidates, as I mentioned. And what we're doing is that through the vetting process is we are calling the nominators to get a little bit more information to find out if the nominee knows that they were nominated, for example. Information like how long the individual has lived in their district. You know, are they from that district? Are they from that state? What other insight can they provide? Are they familiar with Brand New Congress? So that's kind of the first step, and then we go ahead and pick up the phone and call the nominee if we can. Sometimes there's situations where we don't have their phone number, don't have their email address, and we're working on gathering that content as well. So sometimes the nominators are very, very influential in the process of vetting these candidates. And Carol also asks, will this also include state legislature, or is this just for U.S. Congress? Yes. So BNC is exclusively looking at 2018 House and Senate seats. And so those are essentially the candidates we're looking for to challenge. So when we're looking at, you know, say you're a congressperson, really evaluate how well is your congressperson doing? Could things be better in your district? Are there individuals that you know could possibly beat this incumbent? These are kinds of the questions that we're looking to answer, and we're looking to you to provide those answers. Yes, and Jose, hey Jose. Local elections, will we partner with local groups to have municipalities reflecting Bernie's values as well? Well, you know, we're really focused on 2018, as you know, and local groups for sure are, you know, definitely providing us with a whole lot of information. I'm actually here in Charleston. I just met with some amazing people here on the ground in the Charleston area that know all about the district, and they were able to provide me with so much information. And I really would love to come back here because I'm pretty close. I live in Charlotte, so I can just, you know, drive 3 hours and come and meet with these folks and go to some different events, some political events that are happening. And really understand the local politics, because that's the only way we can find the perfect candidate to run against the incumbent, should we choose to challenge that incumbent. And Roger says, yep, so we've got 1,700 nominations, candidates. We're just building our slate. So the process is really going to be right now vetting, going through several rounds of vetting. And what we'll do is we'll simply, go through the first round, get to know who these candidates are a little bit, and then go on and look at their background, criminal background checks, public speaking abilities, things of that nature. And then so we'll just move on until we are able to officially announce, which will be next year. March of 2017 is our goal. Does a candidate have to be 25 to run for Congress, or 25 by the time they take office? That is a really good question. I know to be officially, I would say they would have to be 25 to run, but don't quote me on that. I would believe that, for example, if you're a voting age and you're able to vote at 18, then that would be the time that you would actually have to, be of that age. Okay. So I don't see any more questions right now, but a couple of promos while we wait. So if you have not already signed up for Brand New Congress, please do so, so that you can follow what we're doing, because we're giving so many updates based on, what our candidates are right now, candidate criteria as we move along. There's been a lot of nuances that we love to share with you, and so that you all can help us with identifying and vetting these candidates. So please sign up on brandnewcongress.org and click on that sign up sheet where you can fill out your information, your email address, so you can receive our emails as we send them out. Okay. Will the March announcement come as a surprise to the candidates? Well, that's a good question, Jose. I don't think it would come as a surprise. We would have already been in contact with these candidates at that point. We intend on having face-to-face conversations with these candidates. We do intend on doing some traveling. For example, I just said, for me being so close and the states that I'm identifying and I'm vetting with the group, I'm able to just have coffee, ask them a few more questions about their background and some district information that they can really be helpful. And also, a lot of our candidates are providing, our potential candidates are providing nominations for others who are just like them, which is a really great thing. So it's kind of two birds with one stone, sitting down and talking to them. So by that time, they would have had a face-to-face. They would have had, ample notice that we will be announcing. Now, there are certain candidates that we really want that don't want to run, and so therefore, some of these individuals we would, like we always say, try and twist their arm to run, and so that means, kind of drafting them in such a way that it's just begging and pleading to get them to sign on to go ahead and run for Congress. So they would be well aware of that too. Let's see. Roger says, are we planning on coordinating in any way with Our Revolution? We, right now, the difference between our two groups, I think, that Our Revolution is really focusing on 2016 and down ballot. I think it's eventually, there's a lot of volunteers that are actually double dipping, working with Brand New Congress and with Our Revolution. So in some ways we have coordinated with them, not officially and not, publicly endorsing or anything like that. But, we're all about the same mission. So I think eventually, as things kind of die down with this particular presidential election, we'll be able to have a conversation and see how we can work well together. And I think we would. Okay, Jean. In New Orleans, according to your guidelines, would do well to have a black candidate. I have a list I'm getting together. There are some white people who are deeply connected to the black community and accepted as working for their interests. Some even have a black spouse. It would seem this kind of leader could be acceptable. So, our criteria when we're looking at candidates is we're really looking at the districts and we're looking at, so if a district is primarily African American, we would love to run an African American. And even if that's not the case, we definitely need more people of color. I think everyone can agree with that. We need more people of color in the House and Senate. So in terms of particulars about whether, there are white people that are connected to the black community. It's really about the candidate. And so when we're looking at, for example, 5 people, and 5 are really good, they all have the same qualifications. We're really looking at ones who actually speak to the community, who actually have that community tie and those connections to the community. So of course we'll have to evaluate that as we go forward and move along with these different districts. But the bottom line is we do, for example, if there is an African American incumbent, we would like to, possibly run an African American. But again, it all depends on the circumstance. So we just kind of have a black and white guideline, but it can be changed here and there depending on the circumstance. But please nominate these people that you feel fit our criteria. We would love to look at that. Jennifer says, will there be any financial support for the candidates, or will they be responsible for fundraising their campaign? That's a great question, Jennifer. That's what makes Brand New Congress so amazing. So the cool thing is that we all are working on this grassroots campaign. So it's kind of like Bernie's campaign, where he raised tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, through small dollar donations. And that is exactly what's going to happen once we have our actual campaign and our candidates. So right now we don't actually have a campaign because we don't have candidates. But once we do, there's going to be so much momentum in these different districts that you, Jennifer, will go out, knock on doors, talk to people about, Mr. X from District 5 and really, really just gain the momentum, get people excited about knocking on doors for this candidate. And so they will donate. It's just going to be as if it were a presidential candidate. Everybody will be involved in the process. So people can donate, at events. People can donate at, through the phone. If we're doing a lot of phone banking, people will be able to call in and place their donations there. People can go to the website and donate to the Brand New Congress as a whole. So if I feel like, for example, I'm in a district that we are not challenging the incumbent, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to support the cause. I'm going to be supporting the entire concept of Brand New Congress because we're going to be celebrating every state's races. So we're going to find a huge amount of donations pouring in for candidates all across the country. So that's really cool. So as far as financial support goes, we intend for our candidates to literally do their job, work until the very last day, until it's time to go and take House and Senate. When it's time to go into their office, then they will be well equipped and well prepared to go ahead and represent their district. So we don't intend on the candidates to be phone banking. We don't intend on the candidates to be dialing for dollars because that's kind of what we're seeing right now. We want candidates that are working people that are going to do the work that they're so good at. And we have a huge volunteer base that will be doing all of that, plus the Brand New Congress staff that we will have in place starting in 2017. So hopefully that answers your question. That's a really cool thing about it. I think a lot of people think it's so expensive to run a campaign. Of course it is for individual campaigns and individual districts. But since we're running it as a presidential style campaign, it makes it so much more affordable because we'll have one website, one commercial, and it will just be far less expensive than running individual campaigns. Laura says, are you helping with California District 49 to get rid of Issy? I'm not sure who that is. If it's an incumbent that we plan on challenging, then we will, obviously get someone in place to run against. So I'm not entirely familiar with District 49. I don't have my sheet in front of me, but if there's somebody that you personally would like to nominate to run against, please do so by going to brandnewcongress.org/nominate. So yes, Kenny, yes, we are only focusing on House and Senate, and so we're not really looking at state elections as of right now. See, the thing is, Brand New Congress, this thing is so huge and it's so much work. I mean, we have to spend every waking hour trying to find these ideal candidates. And of course, we're a brand new organization. As you all know, we started in April and we're just in the beginning phases. So it really is going to take 2 years to actually make this happen. So unfortunately, we're not able to participate in things like, endorsing presidential candidates or endorsing, local representatives, because the time is now that we really, really work hard, and with all of your help, we can really get there. We have to actually achieve this goal. Is your group concerned with election fraud? Thank you, Jennifer. That is definitely a concern, but what's really cool about Brand New Congress that we are pretty confident about is that we are going to overwhelm the polls like crazy. I mean, literally, it's going to come as a shock to a lot of people, a lot of the entrenched incumbents, so to speak, that we are here with these great candidates and we've got this powerful voting block of these wonderful people, especially millennials, that we're going to have going out door to door and, getting the vote out for these candidates, that we believe that if we can only get people to turn out to vote in the midterms, 20% is all we really need to win this thing. So in terms of, and then even more than that, we can overwhelm the polls. We won't have to worry about things like election fraud. Of course, it's a concern, but that's kind of our vision, is that we won't have to be so concerned about that. Hira says, how do we know that you will never be corrupted over by the time you go to Washington? Even Bernie started endorsing Hillary, which I never thought would happen. Well, in terms of corruption, we are definitely holding our candidates accountable, just like we'll hold Hillary Clinton accountable. Absolutely, we will. And because Brand New Congress is an organization that is kind of like, you're signing on to this platform, you're signing on to this goal, and people are counting on you. People have invested in you. And if you mess up in Congress and in the House, I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave, and we'll have somebody to replace you immediately. That's the thing about what's going to happen is, when we have our candidates, we want them to be incorruptible, honest, good, hardworking people that really, really believe in the American people and that we can change things dramatically. So, and we respect that, and we put them in a situation that they are representing their district. And if they're not doing that, if we find that they're selling out, then I'm sorry, you're getting the boot, just like we gave the boot to some of these other folks. So that is kind of how we'll deal with corruption if that time comes. Hopefully it won't, because, like I said, the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that will be supporting the brand new Congress and brand new Congress candidates will not go for that. And Maria says, where can we get BNC swag? I feel like we already need bumper stickers, lawn signs, etc. to get the word. Absolutely. So there is a store, and it's not quite set up yet. I believe it is set up, but we don't have the link on the website as of right now. But you can go to us at brandnewcongress.org and order shirts, or you just email us and we'll send you the items that we have. We'll just send you like JPEGs of the items that we have, and we'll be glad to ship that to you. And all the payments will go through ActBlue. I don't exactly know the instructions on how to get there. Corbin is the one that handles that at the store, in the Tennessee store, but we will gladly send you the merchandise. I don't know that we have bumper stickers yet, but we are working on that. We definitely have great shirts. So thank you for that question. Aha, Jose says, is there a plan in the face of overwhelming victory? We'd have a responsibility to our country and the world. Absolutely. I am so looking forward to overwhelming victory. And I think it's going to be an amazing accomplishment. And I want to say, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it's a good question to think about. Like, where do we go next? I mean, we could possibly elect, we could possibly concentrate on presidential elections. Who knows? But, with all of us working together, I feel like the possibilities are endless. And I believe that there isn't anything that can stop us. Yes, Andra says, is it true that brand new Congress is only for the next election in 2018 and not this one in 2016? That is correct. We are only focusing on 2018 just because of the overwhelming responsibility and planning that it takes to actually accomplish this goal. Connie says, please think about getting push cards to explain BNC to help recruit volunteers. It would be great if we could get our local Facebook group page in them too. Push cards. I'm not sure what push cards are, but we do have wonderful pages available through our local organizing group. So if you go to Brand New Congress Facebook page, and you could type in your state's page. You may already have a state page, but just look at that, and then you can get involved locally. We'll find out where you are, and then we could actually set you up with whoever the local leader is in that area. In terms of recruiting volunteers, anyone could go to brandnewcongress.org and sign up to volunteer. They can sign up to be on our list, and we use Nation Builder, so we'll be able to tag them as volunteers. As of right now, we're solely focusing on candidate selection. We've got a couple of needs for local organizing and for, I believe, maybe the data team and possibly help desk. But for right now, we're just looking for some additional help with candidates. Okay. See. Jeff says, what do you do when there's a candidate who's clearly not bought, but for example is socially and environmentally progressive, aside from wanting nuclear, but is otherwise very much center, such as economically? Do you definitely want to the BNC candidate against them? Well, I think what we're looking at right now is kind of black and white as of right now. As I said earlier, there are things that can change over time. We found that there's several nuances with this project. But in terms of candidates that are maybe 98% there, we don't really want that. I mean, we want to support candidates that support the BNC platform, which is stated on the website. And so that's kind of the simple answer. And we are, if they're almost there, there may be some compromise that, they may be able to have a conversation and say, you know what, I am 100% on board. It's like conversations that we have in the community all the time with Republicans, for example. They may not be completely sold on abortion or, completely sold on gay rights. But sometimes it just takes a conversation to realize that, hey, this is exactly where we need to go to move forward. We need for everybody to agree with it. And if they don't, if they leave the conversation and say, I'm sorry, I can't be 100% in support, then we'll just go elsewhere. We do believe that, there are situations like that. Let's see. So how are we getting funding currently? Any goals for how much money we want to raise? Great question. So currently we're getting funding through people like you. It's definitely a grassroots, small dollar donation based organization. So you go to Act Blue. If you're currently signed up with Act Blue, you can donate. So if you go to our website at any time, brandnewcongress.org, and click on the donate button, that's basically how we're funding our organization as of right now. As far as goals, we want to join. We want a lot of money. So in terms of goals, as much as we can possibly get, it is going to be, especially when we start getting candidates. We're currently working on ballot access, so we're actually looking at how much it costs to run a candidate to actually participate in a race in these different districts. So we'll have a much clearer figure once we go through and do all that research. Oh yes, Connie says push cards equal business cards. Okay, we actually do have business cards. And if you go to brandnewcongress.org/work, you can actually print out your own business cards, if I'm not mistaken, which are just the BNC logo with our website and our hashtags. So that's one thing that you could do right away. Go to brandnewcongress.org/work, and there's a whole toolkit with lots of different flyers, and then you could always create your own business cards as well. Okay, let's see here. See if there's any other questions. All right, I only have a couple minutes left. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can, and I'm trying not to ramble so much too. Term limits. Okay, Maria says, thank you for answering my questions. Have you, the BNC team, talked about your views on term limits for members of Congress? A lot of people think that is the key to reducing some of the paid corruption that goes on in Washington. Absolutely. I think, when I think about term limits, I think about a wonderful man. You may have heard of him, a guy named Bernie Sanders. Sorry to quote my man Ryan there, but yeah, I would hate for him to have a term limit because, it took him a really long time to create this wonderful movement that basically created Brand New Congress. But no, there's definitely something to be said about term limits. I think, with Brand New Congress, for example, like I mentioned earlier, we're definitely going to hold everybody accountable. So once we do that, if they're continuing to do a good job, in my opinion, they should remain in their seat and influence others, if anything, and get involved with future races. But that's something that we'll definitely think about a little bit more in detail. What work have we done with groups like Southern Poverty Law Center or Black Lives Matter? That is a great question, Mike, and that is something that we've just been talking about, because when we're talking about our different districts, especially African-American districts that are more than 50% African-Americans, we really need the advice and counsel from these wonderful groups like Color of Change, Southern Poverty Law Center, Black Lives Matter, the Movement for Black Lives. So we definitely have a plan in place to sit down with these groups and really get wonderful advice, especially with our platform issues, like when we talk about criminal justice reform and the war on drugs. These are things that we would love to get more guidance on to make sure that our platform is 100% on point. Okay. I'm not going to be able to take any more questions. It is right at 4:30 Eastern Time, but I really appreciate you all tuning in. I want to just let you know that we also have conference calls coming up, brandnewcongress.org/call. If you would like to know more about the candidates, candidate criteria, things that have come up through our vetting process, please tune in to any of those calls. We normally announce them on Facebook. Be sure to share our posts on Facebook. I think that's how we really get the word out. Don't forget about Twitter. Our handle is brandnew535. And we really want to start doing tweet storms. I just learned about tweet storms the other day. Had no idea what that was, but apparently it's something that we could all participate in, and we should maybe make an event out of that. You know, just start sharing Brand New 535 and start posting maybe all at the same time. We'll pick a day of the week or something like that. But that's just one idea. But yeah, so definitely keep in touch with us. Like I said, if you haven't already signed up for Brand New Congress, please do so that you can definitely be in the loop on everything that's going on with us. And so I thought this was a very successful session. And we'll be doing this again possibly next week. And keep the candidates coming through brandnewcongress.org/nominate. And that's all I have for right now. So I will see you guys soon. Please keep in touch with us. Take care. Bye.